Good morning, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining, as I said, our webinar this morning. You're here with your very capable hosts and myself. I'm Kurt, and I've also got our partner, Phil from Tech Quarters. So for those who don't know, I'm the head of sales at Cloud9. We are a Microsoft Dynamics specialist partner. Work very closely with Tech Quarters, and we wanted to put on a webinar for you today around digital transformation and how the Microsoft stack is assisting that. So, Phil.
Hi guys. Yep. Thanks for the intro, Kurt. Yeah. So I'm part of Tech Quarters, head of the sales team over here, and yeah, we specialize in Office 365, the email side of things, obviously helping customers move to a more cloud-based system, and then obviously looking at the offerings within CRM. So quite a few of our customers tend to cross over, and we do a lot of work with Cloud9 and Kurt as well.
Just gonna try and keep this to about half an hour this morning. So we have got a chat availability on the Zoom account. So if you've got any questions, feel free to pop those in, and we'll make sure that we've got time to answer them at the end. So digital transformation. So there's a real buzz phrase within Microsoft around digital transformation at the moment. But what does it actually mean? So, you know, our understanding is digital transformation is how businesses change and evolve using technology. Really, the end goal is to improve their customer experience and their operational success. So, as you can see on the screen, there's 4 key pillars or areas where you can achieve digital transformation, and many businesses are embarking on all 4 of these. So engaging with customers, empowering your employees, optimizing your operations, and transforming your product. And we're going to talk through some ideas and things that we're doing to help with clients today around these 4 key pillars. So why does it matter? So there's some interesting stats for you. The UK is the fastest growing cloud market globally. So for the size of our country, that's a pretty astonishing stat. We think that's mainly for a few reasons. We certainly have a mindset in the UK of early adoption. We're very much keen on embarking on and embracing new technology. We have a fantastic startup environment. So we work with a number of startups and small businesses, and they're seeing a huge benefit in the cloud. And also the government are supporting this. So the government have a cloud first policy, which, to explain that, basically means that their IT infrastructure, it has to start on a cloud-based environment. So obviously making servers and on-premise infrastructure a little bit more redundant. So these facts outline really the fact that your competitors are doing this if you're not. So according to a Forrester report, a number of CIOs were surveyed and predicted that nearly half of their revenue will be driven by digital by the end of next year. So it poses a question: is half of your revenue as a business being supported by technology? So it's something to think about and take away. Customer experience is now widely seen as more important than your product and your pricing, and technology has a huge part to play in this, such as automated support or self-service, or just the sheer reporting and now AI capabilities to assist in your business decision-making and planning. Digital transformation is not just for your customers. It brings a great deal of benefits internally as well. So how many of you are enjoying the flexibility of working from home? Or like myself and Phil, you're perhaps those salespeople who need to send a proposal on the train or do some work while you're traveling. So it brings a lot of benefits in terms of flexible working. The efficiency and the operations is also a great beneficiary of digital transformation, such as automating of tasks, simple things like email notifications, or internal approval processes, be it through a sales, service, or project format. And all of this is really available at low monthly cost. Long gone are the days of highly expensive implementation projects with huge infrastructure and hardware pieces. So the SaaS model has taken the market by storm, and it doesn't offer any barrier to entry to the cloud infrastructure. And this is supported by Microsoft's 30-day license agreement. So it gives you that flexibility in terms of growing or reducing size of teams to make sure that you're getting the best ongoing value.
So as far as the kind of key concepts and components of digital transformation, you've got quite a few different things really that we look at, but mainly starting off as licenses. So it can be a bit of a minefield when you're looking into this originally. So Microsoft are very much known to have a lot of different licenses that you can acquire and work with. So obviously we're as partners, we're here to help you through that minefield and make sure you get the right licenses for your organization and all your users. Hardware. So again, kind of looping back around to as Kurt was kind of brushing on to then was with salespeople, for example. Obviously, we're kind of out and about on the roads quite a lot. Having something that's kind of a little bit smaller in nature and easier to kind of carry around, while still being able to kind of work flexibly and have access to everything that I need to day, is quite important. And again, across the organization, you're going to have different people in different departments, which will need different types of hardware. So making sure you've got the right type of hardware that goes with the right licenses is very important. Processes and practice. So obviously ensuring that we as organizations understand how you work and we put the right practice into place for you. So obviously there's a few different ways you can go with all these cloud licenses and digital transformation as a whole. And so some organizations, for example, will move completely to the cloud, be operating all of their services out of the cloud. Other organizations might be more of a hybrid approach. So it might be a case of you've got some things locally because that's the way that you work. So for example, architects, for example, they've got quite a lot of large scale drawings and things like that might be better kept locally. And then they'll have other parts that'll be in the cloud, like email. So that's kind of what we're looking at when we're talking about process and practice. And then company culture as well. So as far as digital transformation goes, obviously making sure that we're involving everyone in the company culture. So it really helps with that as well. So there's things that Microsoft have got, like Microsoft Teams, for example. You might, if you've not heard of Teams, you may know something that's it's called Slack. It's fairly similar. Basically incorporating everyone in the organization, no matter if you're a remote worker or you're working in the office, so that everyone's included in what's going on in the company. And then adoption, obviously, as well. So that's kind of a key component of. It's great. It's all well and good if you put all of this into play and you've got all the kind of bells and whistles, but no one understands what it is and how to use it. So making sure that we've got a good level of adoption going on and training built into the actual solutions that we're rolling out is quite important. So we've kind of put a quick slide in here called Digital Transformation Example. So this is a company called ACE. They're an engineering company and they basically moved to the cloud with Microsoft 365 Business. It's one of the newer licenses that Microsoft offer. And again, kind of put it in there really because what they experienced was that they achieved a 25% decrease in operating costs. So a huge decrease in operating costs because of moving to the cloud. So again, it's more stable digital workplace, it's a more cost-effective solution, and a more up-to-date solution as well. So obviously, as employees as well, your employees will see that and think, right, okay, this is great. I'd say I really enjoy working here because my technology is working for me. I've got the right hardware that I need, and I can just get on with my job. And obviously, from that, there can be improvements in working efficiency. So that was great. And there's a lot of examples on the Microsoft website as well about not only 365, but obviously Dynamics as well and CRM customers. So if you're interested and you're thinking, I really want to kind of get to know another company or see another example in our industry specifically, if we don't have it personally, then I'm pretty sure that Microsoft will have something on their website that you can kind of have a little look at. And these are really detailed as well. We've done quite a few with our customers and they've kind of got different videos and things like that as well. So it's pretty interesting to have a little look around on the Microsoft website as well. So, and as far as our offering goes, so you've got a few different points here. So Microsoft 365 Business is the kind of a core component of what we look at from a tech quarters perspective. It's mainly, I'll kind of go into a bit more detail in what that covers shortly, but that is your kind of key business offerings like email, shared file storage, and collaboration, that side of things. And then you've got your dynamic CRM as well. So Kurt's going to talk about that later on in the presentation and give you a bit of an introduction as to what that looks like and how that works. But think of that as your kind of customer management system or your invoicing system. It's quite a broad range really of things that you can do there with dynamic CRM, and then all that's underpinned by training, obviously. As I said before, you're not going to get the levels of adoption that you want and the kind of return on investment from either of these if you don't put in the right levels of training for both of them. I'll jump into us a little bit about us and who we are as Tech Quarters. So as you can see there on the bottom left, we're obviously a Microsoft Gold partner. So we've got Gold accreditation for quite a few of the things that we do. The main things that we do are Office 365, Microsoft 365, the security which bolsters that as well, which we'll go through shortly. And Microsoft Azure as well, which is kind of hosting of servers and things like that. IT support as well. So we obviously support in a number of companies in and around the UK. So we do all their outsourced IT support. And we also have something called the 365 Cloud Academy, which is, we found that we were kind of helping a lot of customers move to the cloud, but they weren't quite understanding, maybe all the kind of key applications that Microsoft offer. So we started doing a lot of training around that, both classroom, and we also have developed our own bot now as well, which I'll show you shortly in the presentation. Microsoft World Cloud Partner of the Year. So we are still talking about this. It's a pretty big award to get. So we were up on stage in America. Microsoft do this kind of world conference each year where all the partners get together, and we were awarded the #1 cloud partner of the year for helping SMB organizations move to the cloud. So that was our 660,000 partners, and we were #1. So we're still talking about it to the day. It was back in 2013. But it was a pretty big award for us to win. And we've got obviously multiple Microsoft Gold competencies, and again, we've got a bit up there as well around the CRN award. So pretty big technology awards, and we won Cloud Services Provider of the Year on that. I think Microsoft won Technology Vendor of the Year with that as well. So it's pretty good award ceremony. So I'll kind of jump into a bit more around what we're looking at talking about today. So Microsoft 365 Business and how it can help you on your digital transformation. So this is one of the latest plans that Microsoft have brought out, which is really focusing down on the key concepts of digital transformation. So it's got the Office 365 package in there, which for anyone who doesn't know, you've got the Office package in there, so Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. You've also got your Exchange Online, so your emails online. Got OneDrive, so it's a kind of a storage space for each individual user. And you've got Skype and Microsoft Teams, which is, think of that as collaboration for your teams internally and externally. And then you've got all your business applications as well. So there's a few business applications that Microsoft have put in there for SMB companies, which could work pretty well. Things like MileIQ, which kind of help keep track of your mileage if you're doing a lot of driving around. You also get Windows 10 built into this package, so there's no kind of worries, because we do hear quite often from companies when they're looking at doing the digital transformation piece that they have got Windows 8 Pro or Windows 7 Pro as an environment, and they're a little bit concerned about how they upgrade. So as part of this package, you get an upgrade to Windows 10 Pro. It's the latest operating system, which has quite a few different security features in there and encryption features, which we'll go into shortly. And you also get within this package something called EMS. So EMS is Microsoft's security suite offering around Office 365. It gives you mobile device management and the ability to kind of wipe data off, or corporate data off, bring your own devices. So it kind of helps you keep control of all that data that you've got in the cloud with Microsoft, while it's giving people the flexibility to work more efficiently. So as far as the security features go in a little bit more detail, so I kind of touched on mobile device management then. So think of it as you've got access to all your company's data out and about on the go on your mobile phone or your iPad. That's great. It means you can maybe work from home a little bit more. You can kind of spend a bit more time out and about with clients or customers, while still being able to work in between meetings and things. However, one day you leave your phone on the train. Oh, all my corporate data's on there. It's not great. So with this, we can actually manage the device and say, right, okay, Steve's left his phone on the train. It's not a great thing. What we'll do is we'll jump into our remote cloud portal. We can see Steve's phone, right? Okay, we can see no one's accessed it. That's great. What we'll do is we'll just wipe the corporate data off the phone, but we'll leave all his personal pictures and things like that on there. So we can really selectively hone in on the corporate data on the phone and make sure that's protected. And if the phone is to be lost or stolen, for example, we can redact all of that off the phone very easily. So pretty clever little tool that you get alongside the Office 365 package now. Email protection. So obviously we can encrypt emails as well. So you do get a level of email encryption as a standard, but this is a level further really. So, you know, you send a confidential email out to someone, you can actually now say, right, okay, I want to make sure that that person doesn't forward the email onto someone else. They can't copy and paste out of the email, and they can't even print screen out the email. So you can really lock that down if it's got very confidential data in there, and you can see, you know, if they're trying to do anything with that data. So data encryption. So what we can do here with this is pretty similar to the email side of things, but we can apply that to documents as well. So, and that's if they're sat at rest in your SharePoint site, we can encrypt them there. So internally, you know that they're protected. And quite rightly, if you send them externally, we can make sure that there's a level of encryption on that document as well externally. And depending on what the document is, we can go quite granular, or we can just say, hey, we just want to make sure it's not forwarded on to other people, for example. And obviously device encryption. So pretty big one with Windows 10, you actually get something called BitLocker now. So some people might be aware of that. What it does is it allows you to encrypt the hard drive on your machine. So all that data that might be sat on your machine, you can actually make sure now that if, for example, like as I was saying before, if I've got kind of a Surface Pro, so if I'm out and about on a train, similar to the phone side of things, if I do lose my device, what we can do is we can wipe it, but we can also make sure that, you know, anything that is on the hard drive, the hard drive is encrypted. So even if someone pulls the device open, you've got quite clever techie people out there now. So you can pull the device open and the hard drive inside it, even if they get that hard drive out, they're not going to be able to get anything off it because it's all encrypted. So quite a good level of security as far as Microsoft 365 Business goes. A few of the kind of key benefits of Microsoft 365 Business. So you've got faster working. Obviously, we mentioned the kind of, you know, being able to work in between meetings when you're out and about because you're not restricted to the office. You've got business continuity, so everything is in the cloud. So obviously, Microsoft systems, if they go down, we've probably got a few bigger things to worry about. They've got about 45 data centers around the world now. And so generally, if all of those were to go down, I think we've probably got a pretty big problem on our hands. So you've got pretty good business continuity around that. Cost effective, so we're going to go through the costs shortly, but it's a fairly cost effective solution once you're up there. Easy collaboration, again, so you've got obviously things like Microsoft Teams, Skype for Business, that you can kind of collaborate with people internally and externally in your organization. And advanced security, so we just went through some of that. So you've got quite a good level of security with each of these 365 packages. Flexible working, and a single price per user. As you can see here, so these are the individual prices. We just kind of put this together so you've got an idea of what we're looking at cost-wise. So if you were to buy Windows 10 Pro, you're looking at around £220. And then Office 365 Business Premium, which is one of the older plans, is £9.40 per user per month. And then you've got your security plan, so there used to be two separate components. Now Microsoft have combined all of those just for a simple cost per user of £15 per user per month. So you can see it's pretty cost efficient now if you're looking at moving to the cloud right now, or even if you're looking at upgrading and kind of adding a bit more security. So I'm just going to jump into a little bit around our training offering, as I mentioned before briefly. So we've actually created a bot now. So this is a training bot that we've created through Microsoft's offerings. And the idea of it is, if you've got quite a lot of users within your environment, then doing classroom training might not be the best thing. Obviously, if you're trying to train a couple hundred users doing classroom training, or thousands, then getting everyone into classrooms is going to probably take quite a long time. So we created this thinking, well, what's a quick and easy way? Generally, people will go onto Google now these days and just Google something. So we've kind of created a bot with a similar idea. We've put I think there's about 3,000 videos in there now. These videos, as you can see, are about 15 seconds long in length. And it's just quick how-tos. So it's a case of, I'm looking how to set my out of office in the new version of Outlook, how to set my out of office in Outlook, and it'll throw a video back at you that you can watch in that pane, 15 seconds, and literally just shows you how to do that. So fairly quick, fairly simple, and it's inbuilt into Google Chrome at the minute. But if any of you are interested in kind of a further demo around that, you can see it's working in Google Chrome there, but we can kind of pick up and show you a little bit more around the bot itself. But it's a pretty big hit at the minute with companies that are looking to move to 365 or are already there and looking to get more out of their investment. So I think I'll hand over to Kurt now, and he'll take you through the Cloud9 and CRM side of things.
Thanks, Phil. And yeah, I have to say the Cosmo bot thing is amazing. So if you're into that sort of online instant help type thing, it's definitely worth a chat with Phil. So thanks. So yeah, just to introduce ourselves in a bit more detail. So we're Cloud9. We're a specialist Dynamics 365 partner. So we work predominantly in the SMB space. So we have one-man band clients up to around 200 users is our largest client. So we're very keen on making as much of the out-of-the-box system work for you as possible. It's a very powerful tool, so it makes sense to use as much of it as we can. When it comes to more complexity parts, we've got a lot of experience. We've got dedicated teams within the integration, migration, and portals area. So these are those sort of more complex parts of an implementation, where we put ourselves slightly different in the market. We see ourselves as a business change consultancy rather than a technical house. We do all the tech behind the scenes, but our ethos is to understand the business challenges and the business pain points and work with you to devise a solution that's going to support your business moving forward. We like to build long-term partnerships, and part of that is our passion for knowledge and training, and also our unique membership support package. So similar to Tech Quarters, we offer an ongoing, ours is unlimited ad hoc training resource. So this is really something that drives user adoption and makes sure that your return on investment from an implementation is as high as it possibly can be. And the ongoing optimization of the system continues to grow alongside your business. A couple of our awards. So ours, 2015, part of the President's Club. Not quite #1 in the world, like Tech Quarters, but that's provided to the top 5% of partners in the world for all disciplines across cloud, server, on-premise, infrastructure, etc. And similar to Tech Quarters, a Microsoft Cloud partner as well. So I just wanted to do an intro to what Dynamics is. A lot of information out there on the internet, and it's a constantly evolving platform. I've been working with it for around 3 years and have seen a lot of additions and fantastic new features. So Dynamics is a modularized solution. The great part is that each business only pays for what they need. So you can have all of these different modules you see in front of you, or just one or two of them. You can also mix them within the teams as well. So if you have a service and a sales team, for example, again, you only pay for the licenses that you need relevant to that person's skill or requirement within the business. So as you can see, there's sales, there's service, there's marketing, also project service. So this is now an extension of Microsoft Project, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. So bringing that project management directly into CRM, having that single platform. And also the other three, field service. So this is an extension of service, managing your field operatives, engineers, etc. Business Central, our newest part of the Dynamics 365 suite. And this now gives us a full lead all the way through to cash solution. So we're seeing a huge amount of increase in clients wanting a single platform, supporting their marketing teams all the way through to their warehouse and financial requirements. And on top of all of this is now perhaps the greatest feature, which is the portals. So as part of your Dynamics license, you have a fully hosted, fully secure and fully managed solution and portal solution from Microsoft, which allows you to really enhance that customer experience we were talking about in terms of self-service, in terms of partner and creating those virtual teams. So connectivity between other businesses that you may work with, extending that CRM solution. There's almost infinite amount of benefits for Dynamics 365, and if you're keen to go through those in more detail, you can of course set up a follow-up call after the webinar. I think one of the main things is that a well-implemented CRM will really derive from the data that you hold and the insights and the reporting that this gives you. And all of this is really to drive better business decisions and give you a better understanding. We see that the growth of business transformation has really happened due to the increase of data. An interesting stat, there's 2.5 quintillion bytes of data created every day. Now, that's more zeros than we can even fit on the screen, but the key part is, what are you going to do with all of this data? And the answer is, well, you need to use it to your advantage. Your competitors are certainly doing it. So finding a solution such as Dynamics integrated with the remainder of the Microsoft suite to harness all of this data, understand more about the market, your customers, and what's working and what's not, and then essentially, as we said, driving those better business decisions moving forward. So there's a number of different ways of deploying CRM, and we have two different types of approach when it comes to a project. We offer a fast-track CRM solution across the sales, service, and marketing modules. And these are solutions that deliver a fast start, quick approach CRM to getting a business up and running. So perfect for businesses who are coming from an Excel-based format, startup businesses, or moving from a legacy CRM where they're just pulling simple data. And you have your requirements, your delivery, your training and data migration all turned around for you within 30 days. And that includes, as you can see, 1 day of on-site training, but also a fixed low budget approach to getting started with CRM and building those foundations for the future. Now, the other side of what we offer is strategic CRM, and this is for clients who have a wider business need, perhaps multiple business functions need to be delivered in a single phase. They might be moving from a legacy CRM or require integration, complex data migration, or portals. So this more strategic approach is where we spend time with you and running workshops, understanding those business pain points, challenging your processes and offering best practice advice based on our experience and other clients and how they've been successful, and building out with you a suitable roadmap to achieve those quick wins for phase one and building out that solution to deliver a wider service to the whole business when the time is right. And just to highlight our membership support and training, so as mentioned, we're keen to work with clients on a long-term partnership point of view, and part of that is our unique membership support and training. So, of course, supporting of the system, this is software, so break fix, errors, etc. These things are all covered, but the two major things of difference is optimization of the system, so adding small optimizations, creating new reports, new data capture requirements, but also ad hoc training. So similar to the Cloud Academy, we have a team of training resource that's available on an unlimited basis for you and your users across the team to ask those how do I questions, which is a real key part of driving user adoption and making sure that the product is successful and solution is future-proof and successful for you. And finally, what we've put together here is just one of our joint clients that we work closely with. So I'm just going to let Phil start with how they started to support Charter Harley Street, and then I'll come in with how we took that and then drove it to assisting with CRM.
Yeah, sure. So, so the guys over at Charter Harley, they when I kind of met them, they had quite a bit of local infrastructure, so a lot of local server. The network was running a little bit slowly, and they were just looking at how they could best move forwards really and kind of digitally transform to help the business grow. Because again, it's not great for employees if things are running a little bit slowly and they can't get on with the work. So what we looked at, first of all, was helping them move some of their email to the cloud, improve the network connectivity, so internet connections, for example, because a lot of the 365 side of things and Dynamics all kind of hinges on your internet working well. And then obviously looking at the hardware side of things as well. So we helped them get some new bits of hardware, moved some of the file storage into SharePoint, so part of the 365 offering. So they're kind of using SharePoint now, which is more cloud-based and over the internet, so they can work more flexibly. Because of what they do, they're the rehabilitation center. So they've got a lot of consultants that work there as well, and they're kind of working in and outside the office. So security was quite a big part for them as well. So we helped them kind of secure all of that data as well. And then also they were looking at how they could better manage their client relationships. So at that point, it was a case of, right, okay, you're probably looking at using a CRM system, which will help you manage all your different clients that you've got. And manage them in different various ways. So I'll kind of hand over to Kurt there, and Kurt, you can kind of run you through what, as far as CRM, how they helped out with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we said, one of the many clients that we work in partnership together with, the main requirements for Charter Harley Street was actually trying to build out a better picture then of their clients, also their consultants and partners that they work with. So the CRM solution was initially put in to have that single view of data, and then working alongside the work that the Tech Quarters team had done, integrating that with SharePoint as an example. So with one click, they could go to a record and find all the relevant documentation behind that, which was a huge time saver for them. And also, of course, one of the major things was around the data security. So not just having that backs up in the Microsoft stack, so being sure of security from breaches, etc. But the main inside of CRM was actually the ability to close off certain parts of the system and restrict certain viewing, amending, and adding capabilities for certain users based on their status within the business. So as you can appreciate, when there's confidential information, and this really works with the wider business community as well. It's very often the case that businesses would like to silo certain information. It could be things like commission due for salespeople, or it could be financial information that they don't want to have universally available. So another great part of CRM is the ability to build out this security model and user roles. So something that they benefited from. So if you've got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat box.
Okay, so I think we've got a question there. So do you have any recommendations for getting employees to embrace the change, not be suspicious of it? Okay, so yeah, so we get this quite a lot with different organizations, and really it's from our perspective, and I'm pretty sure Kurt will probably be the same, it's really we look at a top-down approach. So obviously we understand that not everyone likes change, so what we need is a buy-in from senior management teams, really, and again that kind of starts with a bit of training for them as well. So that's almost train the trainer. In some organisations they prefer to do it that way. So it's a case of getting all the management team involved, getting a training session with those guys, getting them up to speed, and everyone's on board, and then getting them using the products, and then obviously that everything filters down from there. Obviously having training sessions with all the other users is good as well, or kind of rolling out the bot or some other form of training to everyone, so that everyone is included, and then they've obviously got key contacts that they can go to internally to help them understand the products better. Hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, absolutely, and feels very much right. One of the things just slightly different from what we do there is around the initial requirements gathering and scoping. So obviously from a CRM point of view, there's usually a great deal more of detail in terms of field values, data capture, reporting, inputs, outputs, those kind of things. And the way that we approach that is we would always conduct a day in the life approach. So for the different teams, we actually spend time with those individuals to identify where their individual current pain points are, as well as the overall view of, the project team, as an example. And we have these sort of internal understanding that there are always users who are ready to embrace change, and those who are resistant to it. So it's about working with those resistant users to find out, how do we make the system benefit them? How do we identify what those quick wins are? So, when they go live, it's not a case of almost a hassle or a major task to use the system, but the system's actually bringing benefit to them. So, from experience, we can turn those negative thoughts around. Okay, guys. Well, thanks all very much. As you can see, our contact details on the screen there, so feel free to reach out to both of us or individually, and we'd be delighted to set up follow-up calls. So if you need anything more, just let us know, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Great stuff. Thanks, guys.